All right, everybody, go ahead and hit OK because we definitely want this recorded. I am so excited. I am so pumped up. I can't even tell you. I have loved this woman and just watched her from afar. And any chance I get to just like hug her neck and just tell her how amazing she is, I do. She is Canadian. Okay, holla. I love that so much. Um, she is Canada's first double diamond. She is, I mean, the accolades literally are like list long. She's a one Plexus Award winner. She is an industry titan. She has been in network marketing for decades. I'm not even sure exactly how long. And another cool part is this is something that we share is that she inherited her late husband's account as well, as did I, which is something that Plexus wills and all those things, which is really an amazing perk. Um, and she is just literally, she embodies one Plexus to me. I mean, just always willing to just throw her hat in the ring and say, I'm here to help, I'm here to do whatever. And I got to be in a focus group with her, and she probably doesn't even know this, but she would share stuff, and I would just get off the call and tell Rod, I'm like, my husband, I'm like, she is literally the smartest person I think I've ever just got to be around. Like she's so brilliant and just shares so much wealth of information. And so I was really excited that she said that she'd hop on here and just share some of her knowledge. And I wanted her to start off with this story because I think it's so cool. So for any of you that are new, you may not know who Tarl is, but if you've been around for a little while, you'll know that Tarl is the founder of Plexus, one of the founders of Plexus. And um, she knew him when he was,
A
I
teenager.
mean, a teenager. Okay. So she just has a really
Can't have
cool back
services though. It's too
history,
late for.
a back history to Plexus and kind of how it started, all of those things. So now, without further ado, Natalie, Miss Natalie, Double Diamond
Oh,
Ambassador, we love
thank
you. Thank you so much for being here.
thank you so much for having me here. And I will tell you that backstory because back in the 90s, in 1994, I had my very first experience in network marketing. I had no idea what network marketing was. I didn't get in for the business as I did with Plexus. Back in the day, I got in for the products because a physician I had gone to see who wrote the book, The Joy of Health, and a Hungarian doctor. I had a breast lump and my mom had gone through breast cancer and I was looking to treat things naturally. And I was nursing my youngest child at the time who was born in, sorry, I actually went to the doctor the first time in January of 93. My son was born in July of 92. So I was nursing him. I was buying the products at retail prices. And in 94, I learned from another nurse that I worked with at the health department that her husband had a membership with this company called Enrich, and I could get the products wholesale. I was going back and forth to Toronto buying the products this whole year. And so I found out I could get the products wholesale. I signed up, I got this great big clunky $50 membership kit, and I just put it in the basement. But I'd been studying supplements now for probably a year. I got fascinated because I'd been put on some supplements called Indole 3 Carbinol, which was cruciferous vegetables. And I was a part of a study with Dr. John Miknovich at the University New York Institute for people who had breast cancer, that sort of thing. So that's how it sort of all got started. I got into this company called Enrich. And my very first meeting I went to, I happened to be in Toronto. I don't know if you guys know the name Mark Victor Hansen. He wrote the books, all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, co-wrote those books. He was speaking, and my husband, who was a CPA, was doing a conference, and I thought, oh, Enrich is putting on this meeting. I'm going to go just listen to him. And he was a presidential with the company. Sorry, I just got muted. I unmuted myself. Um, he talked about why everybody needs residual income. And he was a presidential with this company. And he said, even though I've got books and training and all the things I do network marketing is just a smart business decision. I thought, network marketing, I never heard of that word. And I've been buying the products for a while. And he challenged us to go home and set up 6 meetings, in-home meetings. And he said, do it bad, do it bad, do it bad till you do it good. Just start talking about the products, share the products, they're life-changing. And I was an educator, and I thought that's pretty cool. And if it can make some money, I'll do that. So long story short is I built pretty quickly. And or the short story of a long story is I built pretty quickly. And the #1 income earner in the world in network marketing was a gentleman by the name of Ken Pontius. Ken was our top person, but he was the top in the world. He was making $400,000 a month, and that was Charles' stepdad. Charles' stepdad married Shirley, his mom. Those of you who've been around a while, you may have seen Shirley at the front stage. I've sat with her a couple times at the front of the room when she's come to kind of gloat on how wonderful her son has done. And so I got to know Ken and Shirley really well. Charles was just a teenager. He'd be setting up chairs and doing that kind of thing. And back about, I started Plexus in 2012, and maybe about 2010, Alfred, one of the other co-founders, I knew very well. He phoned me and he said, "Hey, we would just like you to come and check out this company that we've started." They knew I was all about gut health. I was known as the poop lady for years. I'm serious. Ken Panias and a couple of the other people, we went to the Czech Republic to open it. I would do this whole talk about fawn fluffy floaters, how important that is to have that kind of poop versus stinky, slimy sinkers. And I had this whole 40-foot model, and I would run into people years later who would say to me on the street, "Aren't you the poop lady?" So when Alfred called me, he said, "You got to look at our products here. You know, we need somebody like you who's a network marketer." I'd been doing really well in my previous company. And but I just couldn't fathom that one Tarl that I hadn't seen since he was a teenager, and Alfred, who was already a kind of an old man, that they would be building this amazing company. So I didn't take it seriously. And then in 2012, my sponsor, Arlene Wilcox, who remains one of Shirley's best friends, said, you know, she was out for dinner with Shirley, and Shirley was saying that Tarl's business is really going well, and maybe I should take a look at it. So I phoned them at the end of August 2012, got on the phone with Tarl, Alec, and Alfred, and I said, "Okay, tell me about your company." Now, by this time, just to give you some perspective, I hadn't been building for a few years, but I had been doing work in the industry, and I had been chosen to travel across the United States. I did 8 companies in 8 cities in 7 states in 8 days, from Port St. Lucie, Florida to Sacramento, California, evaluating network marketing companies. And we were evaluating their compensation plan and how that comp plan worked for the masses. And we were meeting the top income earners. And the one question we asked everybody was, what's one thing you could change in your comp plan? If you could change it, what would be the one thing you would change to make it a fairer comp plan for the masses in your company? And in that 8 days, we traveled with a comp plan engineer. And you may or may not know that term, but every company comp plan is written by a comp plan engineer. We traveled with a comp plan engineer, and I learned so much. I knew I was going to be looking for one more company, the last company. I won't give you history about the one I spent 10 years with. I made a lot of money there. I ended up in a lawsuit. I will tell you that was Melaleuca. I was one of the top earners in Melaleuca. And when I left, because I was one of the corporate trainers, they did sue me. I did take them to the Supreme Court and I did win, but it was a 5-year long journey. But in September 2012, excuse me, I made the decision to do Plexus. Now, 1 week to the day later, Alita and I share one thing in common. We both lost our spouses here in Plexus. 1 week to the day, 1 week to the day after I signed up, we found out my husband's cancer had metastasized. And 11 months later, when I went Emerald, was a month he passed away. He passed away on the 19th of the month, and I made Emerald that month. Very bittersweet month, the month I made Emerald. But like Alita said, I did inherit his position. It was like a senior gold. We weren't really building it, but I did inherit that position. And that was certainly a blessing to have that. And then ultimately make the decision to make that my reentry rather than a reentry position when I hit reentry. So that was 2012. And having done that trip with the comp plan engineer and the 8 of us, but 7 professional networkers, I knew exactly what I did not want in a company, but I had no idea what Plexus had. And I'd not heard of Plexus other than them calling me. I hadn't heard about them in the industry. And I'm part of a mastermind group with other top networkers, and nobody was talking Plexus. It was just this quiet little company that was really only in Alabama and Mississippi at the time, a little bit well, mostly at that point, it was Louisiana and Mississippi. Almost everything was there, and Alabama, those 3 states. But they were doing 2 million a month, which sounds like nothing now. But in 2012, they were doing 2 million a month in these 3 states. Got to tell you something Sheila Medina did. You guys all know Sheila Medina. Sheila Medina, um, they put her in touch with me and said, you know, she'll answer any questions you have. She really didn't know how to answer my question, so she'll do something for you if this would help. And she was not yet, I don't even know if she was a sapphire yet. She became a diamond the next year, but I don't know if she was a sapphire yet. There were only 14 emeralds in the company, only 14. And she said, I'm going to give you the username and password to my back office, and you just research whatever you want out of my back office. And then she gave me the income that I could expect from the different ranks. And she said, why don't you just call senior golds, call rubies, call senior rubies, and just ask them, you know, why did they come into Plexus and what kind of money did they make? And she said, just randomly pick people out of the genealogy. And the very, very first person that I called, he had this really thick Louisiana accent. And he was an older man who had lost his job. And in September of 2012, he had gone on the product. Now I'm calling him, and it's the end of August, the beginning of September. And he says, he said he had lost about 100 pounds. He'd cut his insulin way down. And he was a senior Ruby, and his check was over $4,000 a month, and so was his wife's. That's more money than they had ever made in their entire life. And he did it by putting a sign on his van at a Walmart. And he had his with a marker on this poster on his van. And he says, I've lost 100 pounds. I've reduced my insulin. Come and ask me why. And his wife would spend an hour or two in Walmart, and he would park at the back of the parking lot, and he would conduct his Plexus business. And when I asked him if he does he ever get on like webinars or anything, and he says, no, ma'am, I don't have no computer. And I said, do you ever do conference calls? Like, because I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, I gotta get this man talking to a few people, because he's not very bright and he's making really good money. And in all the years I had done network marketing, I couldn't get anybody making that kind of money who really wasn't, you know, the sharpest knife in the block. So I asked him if he'd ever done conference calls. He said, well, I've heard Miss Medina, but I've never spoken on a conference call. No, ma'am. And I said, well, could I get you on a three-way? He says, ma'am, I lost 100 pounds, but I don't do no three-ways. He had this great sense of humor. And I said, you know, I'm just talking on the phone. He said, I know, I'm just kidding with you. But that was the very first call I made. And then I proceeded to make 5 more calls that evening. And everybody told me what the products were doing for them and how life-changing it was. But what blew me away, because I was calling like senior golds and above, was these people were making money. Like they were all making impact income, which was exactly what Alfred had said to me. He says, Natalie, I don't know if we'll ever have anybody make $100,000 a month, which we do. But at the time, he said, I don't know if we'll have anybody make $100,000 a month, but we're going to have a whole lot of people making $20,000, $25,000 a month. And that was music to my ears, because I had been making between $50,000 and $60,000 a month at Melaleuca. I had one person hit 5,000. I had maybe 2 or 3 hit 1,000, and that's all I had. Well, here in Plexus, I mean, when you hit diamond, you've got dozens of people making money, and you have a few that are at the 6-figure mark, but you've got a lot of people making 500 and 1,000 and 2,000 and 2,500. I mean, the number of families that are changed in just a diamonds business is unbelievable. And I had never seen that before. And when I share that with in my mastermind group, where I'm one of 10, and I probably make less money than most of them, none of them have the kind of people, have the numbers in their team making the kind of money that we have in our team here. So I made a decision that I was going to pour everything into Plexus. I was 50 years old when I joined. And the lawsuit I'd been in for 4 years at that point had pretty much, I'd already spent over 400,000 and I couldn't work. That's why we weren't doing anything. I was just working in the industry, because my lawyer said, you can't work if you lose to one of the wealthiest men in the United States, who, while I was in the lawsuit, was the finance chair for Mitt Romney, and Mitt Romney was using his jet. I mean, I was in a battle against one of the wealthiest Forbes earning men in the United States, and I expected to go bankrupt. I fully expected to go bankrupt, and if it had gone any further than if it had gone any longer in the Supreme Court, we may have been, but it didn't happen, so that was really good. And then Plexus has just been this incredible blessing, because if I've never seen a company, I'm sort of scattered right now. I'm going to say one thing and then I'm going to pass it to Alita so she can ask any questions or you guys can ask any questions. But I had a mastermind call a week ago with my group, and we typically meet every month, but we actually haven't met for 2 months. And what blows them away every month, we start by, okay, Natalie, tell us what promo Plexus is doing, because we are given so much every month to build our business. If you guys have been in other companies, you might know this, but if you haven't, you won't realize how incredibly rare it is for a company to give us the kind of promotions. That's our job. We get paid to market, right? That's our job, is to get paid to market, to network, meet the people, and market, share the story. It's not usually the company's job to reward so generously month after month. So it always starts with, okay, Natalie, tell us what Plexus is doing, because it blows their mind. When we do these crazy things like an Apple Watch, they're like, who does that kind of thing? But Plexus does, because they've shared the pot. They've split the pot completely differently than most companies. And they keep money in the pot from their side of the pot, by the way, not from our side of the pot, not our 50%, their 50% for promotions. It's unheard of in this industry.
I am literally freaking out. Are y'all freaking like drop some love in the comments right now because I'm like, who are you and where did you come from? Like just network marketing genius. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. But I would love to know if what you would tell somebody who's maybe like at gold or silver, kind of starting out, maybe it's a little bit slower. How would you tell somebody to just like, okay, like let's go? What would be your advice to somebody who's kind of just starting out or maybe kind of around that gold level?
Right. Well, though, of course, our goals are our future mid and top leaders. So I always say I guess with our goals, I'll tell them that they need to build their belief in the industry and in the products and in themselves. And so when I started, I watched the Diamond documentaries. I watched one every single day. That's how I started my day. I got up and I watched a Diamond documentary. We didn't have all the resources we had right now, but I want them to be filled with the belief of what's possible here at Plexus. And it's our job with them to keep infusing vision casting all the time. Because I mean, I go to bed at night thinking, this is crazy how well they pay us to do what we do from home, because in the old days, we didn't do this from home. We did it in everybody else's home. But now we truly do this from our own home, right? In our pajamas, on the computer. So that's one thing I want them to do. The other thing is I want them to get really comfortable with sharing their story and other people's stories. But the biggest thing, we've had a lot of growth these last few months. I wasn't really anticipating going double diamond. It happened because we really got intentional in our team. And I'll give you the script I teach all the time. And I put it out there to my team and I said, I want everybody to do one business reach out a day. You can share your story, you can do your reels, you can do your Instagram, you can do all that stuff. I'm not really good at all that stuff. I am in my 60s. I don't do that stuff very well. But I do, when I'm building, what I do really well is make sure when I go to bed, I've done one business reach out. And I tell people that, and what I really work with all the new people first is to help them identify who is a good business partner. Have you guys, put your hands up if you know the reticular activating system? Put your hands up if you do. Okay, a lot of you aren't putting your hands up. Okay, you know when you get a car and you think you've got a car that almost nobody has, you got this black RX 350 Lexus. I never saw any of them around because I always drove a white one. Then I got a black one. There's a lot of black RX 350 Lexus out there. I didn't see them until I had one. And our reticular activating system is what keeps us sane. We see what we focus on and we miss out all the other noise, because otherwise we go a little bit we'd be a little bit crazy if we noticed and saw everything. So I'm going to do an exercise with you guys, and I can see a lot of you, at least I can see all of you that have your cameras on this screen. So I'm going to do this exercise with you. I want you to look around your room right now. And I want you to commit into memory everything you see that is red. Okay? If you're somebody who's looking for people that need our products, you see that they're overweight, they seem to be having a little bit of pain, they're complaining about their digestion all the time. That's what you're focused on all the time, are looking for those people. Or red might represent people who need the money. You're focused not on the character of what would make a good business partner, but you're looking at the circumstances, and you look at somebody and you think, oh, they really need money. They really need money. They need plexus because they're living paycheck to paycheck. The red. Look around the room. I don't care if it's red on a painting, or if it's red on a book, or if it's a placemat. Commit to everything that is red. Look around. Okay, now I want you to close your eyes. I can see you. Close your eyes. Okay, now I want you to imagine, can you remember everything in your room that is yellow? Don't open your eyes. You think about what's yellow in the room. Can you imagine everything in the room that's yellow? Is it as clear to you as everything in the room that's red? Okay, open your eyes. It's not, right? I see you guys shaking your heads because you are focused on the person who needs to lose weight, the person who needs money, the person who's walking around in pain. That's what you have in your mind. So that's what you're going to see as you walk around. But what if you curated a list of the perfect customer or the perfect business partner? Wouldn't you agree the perfect customer in some ways is somebody who's already very health conscious, somebody who works out and is dedicated to healthy nutrition and understands the importance of supplements? And wouldn't you agree that the perfect business partner is somebody who is goal focused, somebody who's charismatic, energetic, they're friendly? You figure out all the character traits, because now when you go shopping and the woman's helping you with clothing and you think, man, she is so high energy. She is such a fun woman. She could own the store, but she may not. She may be working for minimum wage. It could be the person at the gas station. It could be the person in the gym you're working with. You don't know their financial circumstances, but you know they have the qualities and character of the person that you would love as a business partner. Because then, if you're reaching out to one person a day and you are looking for the right person, and your reticular activating system is so clearly identifying the right person, you won't miss them. And this is what you say to them. If Megan is the person, I've just been in a store and I've run into Megan and she's got all of the character traits, it appears, but I don't know her very well, so I don't know anything about her personal life. And I'll say, okay, Megan, I don't do this very often, but you are so outgoing. I love, love, love your personality. Do you own this store? Is this your place? Typically, she'll say, oh, I wish. And I'll say, Megan, have you ever thought of working for yourself? Because in the few minutes I've been with you, I can tell you that if you see what I do the way I think you might, you would be awesome at the business I do. And I'm looking for people like you to partner with. Would you be willing to give me 15 or 20 minutes, maybe on your coffee break, 15 or 20 minutes, or like we can connect tonight, or, we'll connect through Messenger, for example. Would you give me 15 or 20 minutes to share with you what I do? It may or may not be for you, but if it's not for you, you'll know what I'm doing. And if circumstances change and timing changes, you might think of me. And if it's not for you, you may think of someone else down the road that you can connect me with, but you would be amazing at this business. And you get comfortable with this simple script. I have been using the same script for 30 years. The same script. The same script. I say that no matter what. If I'm talking to somebody, if I'm texting somebody, this may or may not be for you, but if you see it the way I think you might see it, I think you could be awesome. If it's not the right time for you right now, down the road, when things change or timing changes, you might think of me. And if you run into somebody who's looking for a way to earn some extra income from home, you might think of me as well. I promise I won't waste any of your time, but I'd love to show you what I do. So with my goals, I want them to learn right away. It's an easy reach out. Compliment them. If they're people you know, it's really easy. But if you don't know, spend 15 minutes with them or 10 minutes in the store. Ask them a couple questions if you can. But find something that you can compliment, and only do that if you sincerely know they seem to be somebody that would be a really great partner for you. I mean, be sincere about it. Because if you go out and about during the day, we'll get our gold sometimes, so some of our people together, and we'll say, we want you to go out for 2 hours, and your job is to find 2 people that you can invite to take a look at the business. Just have fun with it. Go for lunch. And just your reticular activating system is just focused on finding the personalities and traits that you'd like as business partners. So that was a long-winded way to what are
Oh,
we
it
going to
was
go
not
to do?
long-winded. I have chills like head to toe. I think I feel very like, let's go. Let's go to lunch and let's talk to people. I also was very inspired by the gentleman who just took a van and a marker and was like, I lost 100 pounds on his van. I cannot. I am like literally, are you guys feeling as mind blown as I am? Like, hello, we're so busy focused on who needs gut health or who needs this or who needs to make $300 that we're not looking for the characteristics of who do we want to partner with. So would you say, Natalie, like, what do you look for in a business builder?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I'm not looking for the person really who is really looking to make 300.
Yeah.
But I'll say to somebody, I'm looking for the person, I want the person who's really motivated. Whatever their goals are, I always say my job isn't to motivate, my job is to look for the motivated. I don't care if they're poor, but they don't
Yeah.
have poverty mentality. If they believe that they can be the conductor of their life, that they can be the architect of their life. If there's somebody who says, I'm willing to do what it takes to do this, then I want to hook arms with them. And so, I mean, I love change. I love it when people's lives change financially, but it doesn't happen just because they need it. It happens because they decide that, they're going to do what it takes. And I'm looking for and I'll say to them, hey, listen, my job isn't to motivate you. So I'd love to partner with you. Oops, sorry. I would love to partner with you, but I'm going to tell you from the onset, you got to have a growth mindset. I'm going to work with you and I'm going to help you grow your mindset. But my job is not going to be to motivate you. So don't come in here thinking that I'm going to spend the time motivating you. I, but I will work with you. If you want to work this business, you're not going to find anybody who will partner up and hook arms any tighter with you than I will.
That's amazing. So good. I'm trying to be professional, Natalie, and you're really
Oh,
making it
Alina,
because I'm just
you're,
like fangirling.
you're
So,
such
so
a superstar. There's nothing I'm saying that's new to you.
Megan said, my life has changed. This is so good. This has
Aw.
been so good. I'm going to give a second. Does anybody have any other questions? Type them in the comments. Like, this is a rarity. This is such a special treat. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, Natalie, I'd ask for you to kind of close it out, I guess, in a just sort of your your biggest belief point in Plexus and why you think it's just the best for building, like why you should go all in and motivate yourself to do it.
Okay. Well, I said at one point that I go to bed every night in awe that I found this company. When I came in here in 2012, I had a goal of 10,000 a month. I thought, oh, that'll give me a reasonable retirement. Pretty soon I thought, okay, well, if I can make 20,000, okay, if I can make 30,000. I did everything on my goal board from last year. I wrote on my goal board, lose 50 pounds. That's the only thing I didn't do. I got married. We did renovations. I said, I want to hit a figure. And I don't need to say it here, but I had this figure on my goal board that I wanted to hit. Double diamond definitely took me beyond that. Um, what I would say to you is I've been in this industry long enough and I've done work for the industry, and I'm in a mastermind group with top earners from other companies. There is no company that can change your life like Plexus. As much as we might complain about the things that frustrate us when the technology doesn't work well or when they don't go exactly in the direction that we want, I will tell you, there is no company that I have ever heard of, and I've done some consulting, that partners with the field like Plexus. There is no company that listens to the field like Plexus does, or no company that offers and is as generous in their pay structure, in their incentives and their rewards. A company that gives you cash to go to convention and gives you hotel rooms and then gives you parties on top of that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Most companies cost you a good deal of money to go, $200, $300 to go, and there is no reward you're going to get for going. It's your job. Listen, I was in a company, Maluka, where if you did not go to convention, which they never gave you any money, to this day, if you elect not to go to a company convention and you are what's called a senior director and above, kind of like Emerald, where you start getting your car allowance and stuff, they cut off your bonuses and your car allowance until the next corporate event that you show up at. I mean, Can you imagine building a business with that kind of rules? Plexus just wants you to be there, and they want you to be there so badly that they're going to give you incentives to make it easier for you to get there. I would say to you guys, if this is your first company, man, did you ever luck out in finding the right company? If you're willing to be consistent, just doing, even if it's just 45 minutes a day, consistent every day, you will have life-changing residual income like I don't think any other company can give. A company that doesn't require you, I'm going to go bad-mouthing, I shouldn't do this, bad-mouthing the company I was with, but they had requirements of what you have to do to get your check. And if you don't meet those monthly requirements, you don't even get your check. You have to do a certain number of presentations. You have to do a certain number of enrollments, and you don't get your check. This is a company that says you work at the pace you want to work. You work as hard as you want to work, but we're going to reward you so darn well if you come in and commit here. It is the most life-changing. Any one of you can come in here and make an income that will change, that will not only change your life, but will change the next generation. And all you have to do is pour in, because there isn't a more generous compensation plan than there is here. Just go all in and just do your IPA. Just do your IPA. Just do one business reach out a day and 3 product reach outs a day, and you can take this to diamond if you just do that stuff. Use 3 ways. I'm big on 3 ways. Use 3 ways.
I love it. I have absolutely adored this call so much. If you guys just want to unmute and say thank you, like literally just show her the love,
Oh,
go ahead.
well, you
Thank
guys,
you.
you,
Oh my gosh.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you.
much.
Amazing.
Natalie, you are the my life.
Much.
Yes.
Thank you so,
Can't handle it.
so much.
thank
Sometimes
you.
with Zoom, it's hard to know, right? Because it's like the energy is not giving back. And I'm like, I want expressive because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. This was so great. And I hope that tonight you guys take this away. And I was reading quotes this morning, and one of them said, the biggest part of being successful is doing things that unsuccessful people won't. Unsuccessful people will leave this call. They'll hear these things from somebody who's been majorly successful in this, who've seen other companies and saying to you, do these things. Unsuccessful people will leave this and just let it fall off. Successful people are going to hear this, and tonight, tomorrow, you're going to be doing these things. I'm already thinking, okay, I'm excited. Like, who will I meet tomorrow that I get to practice this with? Get out of your comfort zone. What does that feel like? What does that look like for you? This can change everything. This could be the call that you're standing up at convention next year saying, this is what brought me to Diamond, and just giving Natalie this shout out from stage. This could be the night, right? So let's go. Natalie, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank y'all for hopping on. Love you so much. And let's go.
Thank you, guys. It was an honor to be here. Lita's one of my heroes. And I've watched Megan as well I don't know, I can't see everybody's names on here, but I've watched Megan and all her fun hats and her pictures.
Yeah.
I'm very quiet. I'm the quiet one. I don't do the pictures. I get stressed out by everybody talking about what clothes they're wearing at convention for these different parties. And that's just not me, but I love watching everybody else get all into that stuff.
Well, we love you just the way you are.
Well, thank you guys. And we'll see you guys in Vegas.
Bye, guys.
Bye.